Legs by Christian Gill. Scene 1. We open on an apartment, a cheap old apartment, a very cheap old apartment. There's a crappy table with a single chair, a small couch, a mattress with no bed frame. The most expensive thing in the whole place is an HD TV that sits on the ground with a video game console hooked up to it. An air conditioner hangs out the window and it's the only source of cool air. The only piece that stands out is a mysterious painting. For some reason, a portrait of Kevin Costner as Robin Hood hangs high on the back wall. The eyes of Kevin Costner are always staring. Renee sits on the couch watching Winnie the Pooh. Her younger brother Davy lies asleep on the mattress.
Hey, roomie. We've got to spruce this place up a little bit. Some more furniture would be nice. I'm not saying we have to break the bank, but this place is so dour. I feel like I'm in the beginning of a snuff film. Oh, remember Mom's cabinet? The one with like all the plates and the pictures of old people? We need something like that. I don't have any pictures of old people. Maybe we could use the cover of Time magazine or something. What do you think? Maybe even get an actual bed frame for your bed? Or, even get a second bed since there are 2 of us. You ever notice that Winnie the Pooh is a dick? I mean, he's the type of guy that thinks it's okay to just walk into someone else's house and start going through their cabinets and drawers and stuff just because he's jonesing for honey. Look at Rabbit. I used to live with a guy in Florida that did that a lot. He wasn't a bear, though. He was a crackhead. And he wasn't looking for honey. He was looking for crack. Where are you going? Wow. You just did that right in front of me?
Renee, why, who did you seriously break into my apartment?
What do you mean?
What do I mean? If you wanted to see me, you could have called. You could have texted. You could have messaged me on Facebook, Twitter, GroupMe. You could have sent a telegram, smoke signal, carrier pigeon. I don't know. The point is, there were a million things you could have tried before breaking in.
Hello to you, too.
Hi. Answer the question.
I missed you.
Did Mom kick you out?
A little.
Oh, Renee, what did you do?
Nothing. She lost something and blamed me for it.
What did you take?
I didn't take anything. She misplaced some of her back pills, and then when she was...
Oh, of course.
And she got all paranoid. It wasn't my fault. But that doesn't matter. I just need someplace to stay.
For how long?
Just a little while.
Okay, but how long?
A little while.
But how long?
A little while.
But how long?
A little while. Anyway, what have you been up to lately? Haven't seen you in so long. You feel like a stranger. Come on. How's that thingy that you do?
My job?
Yeah, that. How's business?
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's always fine with you. How's Mom doing? She's fine. How's your life? It's fine. Oh my God, Davy, I love you. I miss you. I want to give you $1 million and everything you ever wanted. That's fine. Give me something.
How about I ask you a question?
Okay.
How long are you staying for?
You're being rude, and I'm not going to answer a rude question.
I don't have time for this. I gotta get ready for work.
How does work start?
My shift starts at 12.
That's in like 3 hours. You have plenty of time. Sit down. Watch TV with me. I'm not going to bite you.
I want to watch some dumb bear show.
It's not a dumb bear show. It's Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you do. This was your favorite show growing up.
I don't remember growing up.
We can watch whatever. I don't care. Here, you can have the remote.
That's a controller.
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. The remote controls the TV. The controller controls the... Never mind, just give me it. Okay.
So, tell me what's been going on with your life.
Nothing.
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 You just not want to talk? Should we just sit here and be quiet?
Works for me.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Don't hum.
Okay. If you like to talk to close,
Stop it.
if a squash can make you smile,
Will you knock it off?
if you like to waltz with potatoes up and down the countryside,
Renee!
then have we got a show for you?
Don't you start that.
Dragon Tales.
No! Oh my God. That's not even the right song. It's Veggie Tales. It's about vegetables.
But you remember it, right?
Yes, I remember that song. I've done everything I can to forget that song's existence. Don't sing it.
Okay. Broccoli, celery, gotta be.
Okay, fine. Let's talk. What do you want to know?
Just whatever. What's good? What's bad? What are your problems?
I don't have any problems.
Really? Not even a tiny little one? Come on, I'm a great problem solver.
No, you can't help me with what I got.
So there is something that's great. I mean, it's not great, but it's a step. Come on, tell me it can't be that bad.
Jeez.
Or something.
What?
Tell me.
Oh, okay, fine. There's something that's been on my mind lately. Oh, it's stupid.
Great, I love stupid.
I'm in love.
Oh God, I don't want to hear this.
Are you kidding me?
No, I don't want to hear about your girl problems. It's depressing.
Renee!
Fine. Who's the girl?
She's a coworker.
And you got her pregnant.
No, I barely even know her.
Is this just a crush?
Kind of.
Ugh, don't do that to yourself.
I didn't choose this. It's love, the unrequited kind.
You don't even know what love is.
It's the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. Sometimes it's a slow, dull, aching, horrific feeling. And other times it's this sharp, stinging pain of suffering.
Okay, maybe you do know what it's like.
It's awful.
I know. Every boyfriend I've ever had has turned out to be a total asshole. They're all sweet at first, and they tell you you're beautiful, but all they want to do is get into your pants. And once they do, and they realize that you're nothing to them, then, have I ever told you about that?
Hey, I'm sorry. You asked about me. Can we focus on me?
Okay.
Her name's Rosie. She's the prettiest girl I've ever met. She works the counter. Everybody loves her. I mean, the customers actually smile at her. I haven't had anyone smile at me in years. She's got a ponytail. She smells nice. She never laughs. She sort of just covers her mouth whenever she finds something funny.
She a virgin?
What? What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I'm just curious. It seems like the kind of thing that would be a deal breaker for you, since you like her for being perfect and all.
That's so not an okay thing to ask.
Whatever. But is she a virgin?
How would I know? Don't talk about her that way.
Fine, I'm sorry. What do you like about her?
She's just nice and pretty and feminine. There was this one time I was walking to work and she was sitting on a bench drinking coffee and she was just holding it a certain way that was so, I don't know. It was like looking at a princess. It was right then. It hit me like a thunderbolt.
Wow. You just happen to find the one perfect human being in the whole world, and it's some girl at the store you happen to work with. Would you like her if she turned out to be less than perfect?
I think I'm gonna die.
You're not gonna die.
I don't know anymore. She made my heart skip a beat the other day. Like literally. I was walking to work. The whole way there, all I could do was think about her. And I rounded a corner, and she was right there. I had this intense moment of panic. All these feelings of fear, anxiety, longing, happiness, pain, and other stuff. It all hit me at the same time. My heart actually skipped a beat, and it hurt like hell. There was just this sudden tension in my chest, like I'd been punched or someone punched me or something, and I felt it skip. I never knew that was like an actual thing that can happen. I mean, I've heard people say that, but I didn't think they were being so literal about it. Now I know why in marriage the man always dies first. Because every day when he sees his wife, she makes his heart skip a beat, and that adds up over time. Women are a one-way ticket to heart disease. I was trying to recover and get to work when I rounded another corner, and again, she was there. And for a second time on the same day, my heart skipped a beat. That's the only time I've ever felt it in my heart, though. Usually it's in my guts. Sometimes I'll spend all day thinking about her, and I'll just have there's just squeezing in my intestines. It's like someone reached inside my body as hard as they can, and they just won't let go. Why do hearts mean love? It's the guts where you really feel it. It's just so horrible. And some days all I want is for it to stop, because I know she could never love me as much as I love her, and it's tearing me up inside. I'm dying.
I didn't know you were such a romantic. You act like such a big, tough, serious man. But underneath, you're just a little teddy bear.
It's tearing my life apart. I've been combing my hair sometimes. I mean, I'm dressing nice. Well, kind of. I shave now and then. It's killing me.
You can't let one girl get you like this.
Oh, like you're an expert.
I am. Did I ever tell you about Bravo? He was handsome and sweet. And one time I took a few of his pills. Whatever, okay? It was just a handful. He was so angry at me, and he was screaming and getting all in my face. So I followed him, and I started to hallucinate, and I thought I was going to die. And then he was driving me to the hospital, and I kept talking to him, and I don't even know what I said, but he left me on the side of the road. And I could barely even stand, so I just laid there at 3 a.m, waiting for death and not even doing anything to stop it, because I wanted to die. I never saw him again. That was the last relationship I had. So I know pain and I know love, you know.
I didn't know Star Trek was on Netflix. Sweet.
No response? Really?
Hmm?
I just told you the story about how I almost killed myself. Nothing?
I'm not going to lie. The first 10,000 times you told me that story, it really affected me. The next 10,000 times too. But by the third 10,000th time, it kind of started to lose some of the effect. And now that you've told me that story the 6 billionth time, yeah, not going to lie. It's just not the same.
You're a dick.
Renee, just tell me how long you want to stay here.
I don't know. I don't have anywhere else I can go right now. So can I stay or not?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
It's not like I had any other choice.
Very funny.
No, seriously, are there any options for you?
No.
Great. Glad to have you.
It'll be better than last time.
Yes, it will be, because this time I'm going to lay out some clear ground rules for you to follow.
I'm not a baby.
Rule number 1, no whining about the rules. And rule number 2, if at any point you feel unhappy about rule number 1, simply look about rule number 1. Simply look back at it, and you'll feel better about it.
Is this because I gave you a bedtime when I babysat you?
No, that would be childish. Actually, that's a good idea. Oh, rule number 3, bedtime is at 10 p.m. on the dot. Rule number 4, you have to take care of the TV. And I mean it. This is the most valuable thing I own. This is the only thing that keeps me from going crazy day after day. Hey, take care of it. That means turn it off when you're not using it. Don't let any drinks get near it, and don't try to pick it up.
Okay, is that it?
Renee, seriously though, don't bring any drugs in here or alcohol. Oh, and especially no cigarettes.
You really don't trust me at all, do you? I'm clean. I promise. We can pinky swear if that'll make you feel better. But I'm not gonna stop smoking.
Just don't smoke in the house. And clean up after yourself. We'll figure out different days to do the dishes. Don't bring any men over here.
Oh my god, I'm so over men, I promise.
That's what you said last time.
Okay, accidents happen.
How was he an accident?
How was I supposed to know? I was finding someone so cute. I'm not a fortune teller.
There's one more thing. I'm going to need you to pay rent. I'm struggling enough as it is, and if you're going to be here, I need you to carry your own weight.
Done. Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Ooh, isn't this exciting? You and me alone against the world, just like old times. Us against the world. Couple of badasses kicking ass and taking names and doing cool shit.
You're sleeping on a couch, and I'm working retail. Go us.
Davy, I promise that I'm going to fix your bad attitude if it's the last thing I do. Because you're my brother. And I love you. Well?
What?
Is that all you're going to say? Just a grunt? How about, oh, Renee, yes, I love you so much. I value you and respect you, and I hope we live together forever.
Tell
me you love me.
Don't do that.
You love me?
Stop it.
What's wrong with you? You can go out for an hour about some girl you barely know, but you can't tell your own sister that you love her?
I should be getting ready for work.
How do you turn the volume up?
You get up and push the button on the TV.
Can't you do it?
You're right there. Just do it yourself.
Come on. Just turn it up.
There's no reason you can't do it.
I don't have any legs.
Blackout. Scene 2. Sometime later, Renee has moved from the couch to the chair. She eats junk food and watches Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Davy enters wearing his Best Buy uniform.
Hi, Ruby.
You're in my chair.
Yeah?
You spent the last 2 weeks on my couch. Now you're in my chair.
Yeah.
Get out of the chair. You already infested the couch. You don't need to ruin the chair, too.
If you don't want me in it, you're free to pick me up and move me.
Never mind. Can you at least clean up? I mean, look at this place.
It's hard for me, okay? I don't have any legs.
Oh, my God.
Look what I'm watching.
It's a cartoon.
It's Ed, Ed, and Eddie. This used to be your favorite show.
I've never seen it.
What are you talking about? We watched this all the time when we were younger. You can't tell me you don't remember that. Jawbreakers? Plank! Nothing?
How old were we?
I don't know. 8, maybe?
There you go. I don't remember being 8.
Yes, you do. You're just saying that to be mean.
I really don't. I didn't much like being a kid, so now I've just kind of blocked out the whole thing from my memory.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. You're telling me you don't remember all that time we spent in church?
No.
Do you remember the songs when I sing them?
Those are burned into my subconscious. Once I figure out how to remove them, trust me, I'll forget them.
What are you doing?
Eating.
Why don't you relax?
Can't. You're in my chair.
Then sit on the couch.
Nothing in this planet will get me on that couch.
Then just sit down and talk to me. I've been thinking about your girl problem. I know what to do.
No, you don't.
Okay, I don't. Sure, I guess. Yeah, it would be a shame if you went the rest of your life alone because you couldn't bother to listen to me for 1 minute.
Okay, what is it?
Sit down and I'll tell you.
Okay, now I know for a fact that anything you have to say will be completely useless and unhelpful. That being said, what is it?
Sing to her.
Oh my. You gotta be kidding me.
No girl can resist when a man sings to her. I remember when Bravo and I first met. Oh my
Am
God.
I not listening to another sad story about you and your ex?
This isn't sad, it's romantic. It's how I first fell in love with him. Look, if you want to shut up, I'll shut up. I don't care.
No, I don't want you to shut up. Just say what you want to say.
It was our first date. He took me to a karaoke bar and he sang me Gangsta's Paradise. It was so romantic. That's how I fell in love with him.
And now you hate him?
Yeah, but that was later.
You know, if you still miss him, I'm sure you could ask to stay with him. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'd like to get back together.
Why do you gotta do that?
What?
Stop trying to get rid of me.
I'm not getting rid of you. I was just trying to be helpful. Just forget it.
You actually can't kick me out, even if you wanted to.
Why not?
It's not your place.
This is my place.
Right. This is not Grandpa's old bachelor pad. This is not where he brought his side chicks. And the rent is not being taken out of his bank account just because he forgot to sell the place. And since he's in a retirement home and can't so much as wipe his own ass, let alone worry about his social security checks, he's in no position from stopping a relative that has the keys from using the joint. I mean, that's totally not the case. And you are totally not taking advantage of an old man. And I totally, completely, absolutely am in no position to pick up a phone, make a call, and report you for it. Totally.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing I'm happy you're here.
That's his painting, right? Definitely does not look like something that you would have up.
I can't get rid of it. It's stuck to the wall.
What's it even supposed to be?
I believe that it's a portrait of Kevin Costner dressed as Robin Hood.
Why did he have that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I hate that painting. It creeps me out.
You know what today is, right?
Nothing worth talking about.
So
There's nothing to celebrate.
it's Father's Day.
Like I said, nothing worth talking about.
I mean, it is a holiday.
Yeah, but it's one of those fake holidays that no one really believes in, like Groundhog Day or Thanksgiving.
Do you miss him?
Does the couch smell to you?
It's okay if you do. I miss him sometimes.
It's probably just because you were on it for so long. I really should go clean this.
Maybe I don't miss him so much as I miss the idea of him. There were some good times, weren't there? I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. does it? But we're still here, even if he's not. Maybe celebrate is the wrong word. We don't need to praise him. I mean, obviously he wanted us to worship him, but maybe we could order food or something and just reminisce about it all. I'll go first. Do you remember his sermons? How he used to preach and get the whole church excited, and he'd keep talking about movies and stuff, like how The Matrix was the perfect allegory for Jesus. Or how he would get everyone so excited about communion, even though they didn't actually serve wine. It was always just grape juice. Remember that? The blood of Christ. Grape juice. I kind of miss the way he used to pick me up. He was so strong. Even after Mom stopped picking me up, he kept doing it for years. I miss his cologne. Oh, I miss the dumb voices he always did. And I can't really think of much else. Okay. Your turn. Come on, Davy. It's okay. You can talk to me about him.
When Gabriel blows his horn, will my children rise with clean bodies, or will they reek of sin and filth?
What?
I remember one day, he went in front of the entire church and told them how disappointed he was of his children. I remember afterwards he got drunk and was screaming about how disappointed he was that we didn't get up in front of the entire church and apologize. I remember the smell of his breath. Everything else is just a big blur.
I know he had his demons.
Do you really think your life is better because he was your father?
I didn't say that. I remember all the bad stuff too. Oh, like when he would.
You see, this is why I didn't want to have this conversation. He's gone, dead, buried, and I've worked very hard to forget him. Actually, the other day I thought about him, which was disappointing, but I realized something. I don't remember his face. I really don't. And that was the happiest I've felt in a long time.
At least we had each other.
Did we?
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Don't think about it. It doesn't mean anything.
I always took care of you. At least I tried to. But that was back when I could still walk.
You still can?
What?
Yep.
I don't have any legs. Okay?
Stop saying that. I am so tired of playing along with that crap.
I'm not being funny. I have a problem and I'd like you to respect that. I can't always give you what you want.
Why not?
Because I'm legless.
Oh my God. How long have you been spitting that garbage? Renee, I grew up with you. I've seen you walk. You have legs. Just get up.
I can't.
What are you telling me exactly? You honestly believe that you are missing your legs?
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. How am I supposed to react to that?
You can start by helping me?
Renee, you can walk.
How can I walk without legs?
What are you talking about? I can see them. I can see them. They're right there.
Stop lying.
Wait, this is so low. Renee, I've dealt with some bullshit in my life, but this is just pathetic.
I can't believe you don't believe me.
Don't believe you?
You're my brother. You should trust me.
What? I have eyeballs. You know, those things in my head, those little white round things that allow me to look at stuff. Of course I don't believe you. No human being on this planet would ever believe you. Look, I am now touching your legs. They are in my hand.
It is so sad to see you stoop so low. What?
I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to let you do this to me, Renee.
I'm not faking.
Enough. Just enough. I want you to say it right now. Say it right now. Say
No.
You have legs.
No.
Come on. Just say it.
No.
Just say it.
I'm not a liar.
Okay.
Give me that.
I'm taking it. I will stop you. All you got to do is get up, walk over here, and take it. One child gone, left with two. God took the good one and left me with scraps. So, are we done?
With what?
Well, obviously you can't pretend anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just stood up and attacked me, so obviously you can walk.
How could I attack you when you're over there and I don't have any legs?
Blackout. Scene 3. Renee lies asleep on the couch with the TV on. Davy stands over her with a Polaroid camera. He snaps a photo of her while she sleeps. The camera prints the Polaroid. She stays asleep. Davy paces back and forth, waiting for her to wake up. Davy grabs the controller and pauses the show. He turns the volume up on the TV and unpauses it. Blam! The sound of the show booms through the apartment. Renee jolts up.
God, what the hell?
You left the TV on. Look at this.
What is it?
Proof, Renee. Proof. I have photographic evidence that you still have legs.
It's blank.
I haven't used one of these in a long time.
Can you have a camera on your phone?
It's broken. Besides, I wanted something physical, something you can't accuse me of doctoring. It's supposed to fade in, I think.
You want to play Monopoly?
What?
Or Scrabble or something?
No, I'm about to destroy you. I don't want to play a board game.
I'm in Candyland.
Okay, focus. Here you go. This is proof. This is proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. You are a biped.
That's just a picture of my head.
I'm not a photographer. The point still stands.
I want to play a board game.
You said that. That's not what we're talking about.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Just stay focused.
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, you've been pretending you have no legs, or at least to convince me my eyes don't work.
Sorry.
Sorry. Is that you admitting that you're full of crap? Are you ready to say the truth?
Sorry.
I forgive you. I just need you to say the words. I have legs.
Sorry.
Why do you keep saying sorry?
That's what I want to play. Sorry.
Will you stop talking about board games?
Then stop trying to prove something. I know what I am. You're the one that's confused.
You're right. I'm confused. Hold on. Let me track this. Walk me through it from the beginning.
What do you want to know?
When did you start lying about? When did you lose your legs?
The accident.
What accident? Renee, your birth was an accident. You need to be more specific.
How is being an asshole going to get me to talk to you?
I was kidding. Please just tell me what happened.
Don't be a dick.
Okay.
It was the accident.
Could you please be more specific?
It was the accident.
Oh.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay, just so I can follow, can you walk me through the timeline? That was like, what, 2004?
You don't know what year it happened?
It was 04, right?
Yeah, and it was the worst day of my life.
I know.
Actually, it was the worst day of both of our lives. I don't know how you could forget that.
I was like 6 when it happened.
So?
I barely remember him.
He died because he picked me up.
Okay, what happened to Carl was not your fault. He died because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
No, he died because he was wearing a seatbelt. I survived because I wasn't. I was flown 100 feet through the windshield and he was crushed.
I guess that is what happened. I'm sorry. I wish I could remember it better.
That's the day Dad took up drinking and I lost my legs.
Renee, I do remember you going on to being a cheerleader in high school.
Yeah, so?
So you had to have your legs at that time. You must have lost them later.
No, I lost them then. I just didn't realize it yet.
And when did you realize you were legless?
After she was taken away from me.
Why would that happen?
Being legless explains everything. My life is one tragic disaster after another. It doesn't make sense for one person to suffer so much. But people were taking advantage of me, and I couldn't stop them.
Renee, the bad in our lives can be explained by 2 things. We're unlucky, and we make decisions.
Choice was taken from me. I have this memory of Father when he was mistreating you, and I wanted to stop him, but I couldn't. I couldn't even get up. I guess I can't blame you for hating me.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back. This is the only one I have. Shoots and Ladders. I don't have all the pieces. Actually, some of these are from several other games. This is a Monopoly dollar.
We're actually going to play?
Yeah, why not?
How do you play again?
I think you just roll dice and move spaces. I'm pretty sure it's designed so a 5-year-old can play it.
How do you win?
Get to the end first, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really, this is nice. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
You still believe in God, don't you?
Sure.
And you believe God loves you?
He has a funny way of showing it.
Do you think God hates you?
If I'm being honest, no. Actually, in spite of everything, I can't truly call myself a non-believer. But I don't know. When I think of God, I don't feel the rage I feel for Dad. I should. I mean, you think I would. When I think of every other aspect of our childhood, I feel nothing but contempt and hatred and disdain. And I guess other synonyms for not like. But religion? No.
Wow, I think that might be something you and me actually agree on.
Not hating God?
That'd be nice to believe.
Yeah. Let me be clear. I didn't hate you when we were kids. I never blamed you for anything that happened to me, and you are not responsible for what happened to Carl. You never were. Just because you survived doesn't mean anything. He was driving 1 mile up a road with no turns. It was an act of God.
He was showing off. He liked to swerve left and right to get me to scream.
And it was an act of idiocy.
He wasn't an idiot.
I didn't hate you, is the point. Not for him, not for Dad, none of it. I just didn't like you very much.
Okay, I guess I deserved that.
No, you didn't. I thought you were dirty and rude and quick to anger, and you went out with guys I didn't like. It was petty. I'm sorry. I wish I knew the truth back then. If I knew the truth, then it would have been different.
What truth?
It's not that I was wrong, but that was the best version of you I was ever going to know. If I had known that, I would have been nicer. That was my only chance to have an actual brother-sister relationship with someone. And I let it pass me by.
We can have that now.
No, we really can't.
Why?
Renee, it's everything. We're not just not compatible. Think about it. We can't agree on our dad. You know what he did, but you still act like it was excusable somehow. Like we should just forgive him and move on. Like you can barely remember half of it. Renee, it's more than just occasionally mistreating me. This is a man who believed that hatred was love, and love could only be expressed harshly and with the vengeance of God.
I know who he was. I'm not insane. He was a complicated man, to say the least. And I hated him for a long, long time. And when he died, I was left with that hate. It consumed me. I ached day after day, and I hated him more and more. I hoped that if I could just be a little bit angrier with him, then the pain would go away. Then I realized what the real problem was. I would never get a chance to forgive him, not in the real world. And the pain would never go away. But then something amazing happened. I discovered that I didn't have to hate him. I didn't have to forgive him. I could see him as a loving, wonderful man. You know how I do it?
How?
I pretend. I close my eyes and I see him differently. I pretend that he was in shape and he was happy and he loved us and he never stopped smiling. I pretend that he's perfect. And I see him in that perfection. The more I see that version of him, the farther away the other one goes. Every time he yelled or screamed or told me I would burn, it all fades into the background. If I do it long enough, it will become real.
You really think that?
Maybe it's easy. Just let go.
I can't do that.
Why not?
Because he doesn't deserve it.
When has it ever mattered what someone deserves?
It should matter. It has to matter.
Why?
Because that's the only way it makes sense. You do a bad thing, you get punished. It's simple math.
He's dead, Davy. No one's punishing him.
I am.
How?
Every day I curse his name.
You know, he had his own sense of right and wrong. He also didn't like unclean people, and he definitely believed that the bad should be punished. In fact, he believed mankind had to punish its people so God didn't have to.
What's your point?
My point is that you're so focused on the worst things about Dad that you don't realize something. Everything else about him was also bad.
Okay, great. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I don't think you understand me. I cut myself off from that version of him completely. He can't influence me. But you, I don't think you realize how similar to him you really are.
I am nothing like him.
You're nothing like the worst parts of him. That's very true.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that he also believed in purity. And if something is impure, there has to be a reckoning.
If you don't like what I believe, then maybe you should go.
I can't go before I save you.
Oh my God, you did not just say that to me.
How long do you think you can go on like this?
What exactly is the problem with me? That I'm too sane? That I look at the world honestly? That I live on an island called reality?
You're lost.
Do you have any idea how insane you really are?
If being insane is the same thing as being at peace, then I'm insane.
You don't get to avoid pain. You don't have the right. We have to look at ourselves, and sometimes that pain comes from our father, and sometimes it comes from ourselves and what we've done, the horrible things we've done. And when we fail, we don't get to blame it on some made-up disability.
Don't say something that you can't take back.
She was calling for you when I found her.
Stop.
She was calling for you, but you were so high that you didn't know up from down.
No, it wasn't like that.
The water had gotten an inch higher, she'd be dead.
I couldn't get her out of the bath. I can't walk. That's all it was.
Here's a question for you. Do you hope she remembers you, or would you be glad if she forgot?
You'll always remember me.
I suppose Uncle Howard shows your picture to her from time to time? You did the right thing giving her up and going to the hospital. I had forgiven you for the whole thing. But this, Jesus Christ, you have to accept that you almost killed her.
It wasn't my fault.
How is it not your fault?
Because I don't have any legs.
And exactly how long do you have to pretend that until it becomes true?
Why would I have to pretend something that's real?
Renee, come home to reality. I'm waiting for you.
If things were the way you'd see them, then I'd just be a piece of shit, and I'm not. I'm not. You don't get to define me, just like he didn't get to define me. Got it?
You know, you really did your daughter a favor. If you weren't so strung up all the time, the state wouldn't have had to have taken her away. So far away from the center of this disaster of the family. Whatever influence our father may or may not have had on us, it won't be passed on to her. If a man calls his brother a fool, he's in danger of hellfire, but a father can see his child clearly. And when that child disappoints, it's the father's job to burn him away like a piece of rotting flesh. And much the same, his daughter's a whore.
I can see him in your eyes.
Let me be clear. I am not like my father.
You are. And I don't know how, but I'm going to prove it.
Blackout. Scene 4. The next day, Renee lies on the couch watching another show. She stuffs her face with pizza. There's pizza boxes all over the place. The place is a complete wreck. The only item in the house that remains clean is the ever-watching, all-knowing portrait of Kevin Costner as Robin Hood. Davy enters.
What's that smell?
Pizza.
Why are there a million pizza boxes all over the place?
Because I ordered pizza. Yeah, pepperoni, cream, Canadian bacon. Also pasta and wings.
Why did you order so much?
Because I was hungry. You can have some too.
How did you do this?
I called.
No, I mean, how did they all get in here? Did you get up and answer the door?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's something else. Do you smell something?
Yeah, food.
No, something else. You don't smell that.
You should just relax.
Renee, this is from Pizza Hut. This is from Domino's. This is from Little Caesars, and they're all pepperoni.
Huh? That's weird.
Renee, you got something you want to tell me, or?
I know what you said about paying rent, and I want to hold my own weight. I mean, it's the least I can do after all of this kindness you've shown me. There's not a lot that I can do without being able to walk. So I was sitting here and eating Domino's and thinking to myself, wow, this sucks. And then I started to wonder how Domino's and Pizza Hut taste back to back. So I ordered some, and then I was trying a bite of one and then eating a bite of the other, and then back and forth until I was almost choking on 2 different types of pizza. And then while this was happening, I started to think to myself, wow, this is kind of a waste of money. And then I thought, hey, I bet nobody's done this before. And then I thought, what if I did a podcast where I ate pizza? And then I thought no one wanted to listen to somebody eat. And then I thought it should be a web series, but I don't have a camera. So then I thought, well, I'll start a website, but I don't know how to start a website. So I ordered some pizza and wings and breadsticks and stuff while I was figuring this out. And then my brain screamed, I should start a blog.
Is that all you've done all day?
No,
How are you paying for all this?
I found the money.
Where?
I don't know.
Did you use my credit card?
What? No.
Renee, did you use my card?
No, that's ridiculous.
Renee, if I look at my bank account, you're telling me I will not find a ridiculous charge in my account for at least 3 different pizza places?
Unless you ordered something.
Oh, oh my God! Jesus! Devil! Oh, Jesus! Sweet mother of God! Oh, Jesus!
Well, what did it say? Okay. You'll get your money back when I get ad revenue on the blog. Come check this out. Look, I already made my first post. The eclectic differences between Domino's and Pizza Hut. I looked online for good words to use, and eclectic sounded the best. The meaning doesn't fit, but whatever. Look, I took pictures of myself and I put it on there. Look at the view counter. I can tell how many people have clicked on it so far. At this point, I have 3 views. Once we start getting ads, then we'll make some serious money. I'm talking hundreds.
Renee, a second ago, when you flashed your screen at my face, it was kind of far away, but I could have sworn I saw something that looks like a title. Could you tell me what you've named the blog?
I just told you, the eclectic differences.
No, that is the name of the post. I want the name of the blog. Please. Didn't catch that.
A Paraplegic's Guide to Pizza.
Oh, boy. Renee, it's one thing to use a disability to sell a blog. It's a totally other thing to use a disability you don't have.
You're not the one that has to live like this.
You don't have to live like this because you can walk, you know, and run and ice skate and rollerblade and kickbox. You can do these things perfectly because you have legs. You're only pretending not to have legs, or rather pretending to believe that you don't have legs because, like always, you don't want to take responsibility for yourself or the things you do.
Wow, you're so great at getting inside my head. How about yourself? If you could take just a second to look at yourself, you'd see that you're no better than me.
Oh, don't you dare challenge me to a pissing contest. I've got a life. You know, that thing you've neglected? I've got a career. Every day I deal with the hottest electronics and help give people what they need.
You work at Best Buy.
And when I get promoted, I'll be managing a Best Buy. That's just the beginning. I'm going places in my life.
You've got a liberal arts degree. Name one thing you can do with that besides teach.
It opens doors. I'm smart. I'm likable. I know people. I got connections. Ray Liotta was my commencement speaker. And like you're any better. I mean, look at you. If that was the real Kevin Costner, he'd be crying right now. Oh, that smell? Oh, I still smell it. You've been smoking in the house again. Yeah, that's it. Cleaning the air.
Oh my God, what is that?
Axe body spray.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
And you should love it.
Stop it! Stop it! That's enough!
I still smell it.
Right, I've been punished.
It's not about punishing you. I'm just cleaning.
Stop it!
Stop what? This?
What is wrong with you?
Why don't you stop me? Come on, stand up and stop me. I tell you what, admit you have legs. Come on, admit you have no excuse for being a lazy slob. Admit it. You moron. What is wrong with you? You broke the TV. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Oh, that's great. That's just great. You are a lazy, filthy, disgusting, just a waste. You are an absolute waste.
Say it all. Say exactly how you feel. What do you want to do?
Pain! When the sound of God's fury fails, pain is the only cure. You need to bathe in your screams, and you'll cry, and you'll yell for me to stop once you admit to your own sins and cry out to the heavens that you're a liar and a fiend. Once you scream, grovel and scream, and get on your knees to me, and then I'll let you breathe, and... Oh my God.
Renee is left alone with a messy room and a creepy painting. Blackout. Scene 5. Later that day, Renee sits on the couch. She waits anxiously for Davy to see the letter she left for him on the table. On top of it is a photograph. Davy enters. He is very, very drunk.
Hi, Davy. There's a letter on the table. I'd like you to read it. That's old. Okay. It's on the table. Will you read it, please? Are you reading it? I can't tell. It's an apology letter about today. I needed to get you to that point. I needed you to see it. Maybe that was wrong. I'm sorry. Look, I've been thinking a lot about how things have been lately, and I know it's been tense between us, and I want to fix that. Don't you recognize the photograph? It's you and me dressing up for Halloween when we were kids. I'm wearing the doctor coat. You're the Power Ranger, of course. Why aren't you saying anything? Look, I know it's not quite what you were looking for, but it's the least I can do. I'm making a step towards having a better relationship. That's the kind of thing they used to encourage us to do in rehab. It won't work if you don't do anything. Come on, put in a little effort, will you?
Davy walks away from the letter. He does not look at Renee. Instead, he stares deep into the eyes of Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, like he's absorbing his strength.
Why do you hate me? What happened? I mean, I know I'm not a perfect person, but I'm not garbage. Do you think I like being me? I know I'm fucked up. I'm a fucked up person, but I'm not a thing. I'm not an idiot. You don't have to treat me like I'm a piece of shit. It's everything about you. It's the way you look at me or don't look at me. I can see it in you right now. What? Am I repulsive? You can't bring yourself to say one nice thing about me. Come on, say one nice thing. I didn't think so. You know, I was always so proud of you in school. You were so smart. You don't know what it's like when everyone says your brother is smarter than you, and you can't say anything because you know they're right. You think you had a hard time as a kid? No, you had it easy. I was the disappointment. And to be a girl in this family that only loves women as long as they're the epitome of purity, you crushed me. So yeah, I made bad decisions. But you know, that was all I had at the time. You didn't help me. I mean, I know you couldn't. You were younger than I was, but you had me to protect you. I had no one. You still won't look at me? Look at me!
Where did you get the photograph? It wasn't there before. Oh, maybe it flew here. Maybe magical bird just came in here out of nowhere and plopped it right there. Or maybe, and I know what I'm about to say is absolutely insane, and I mean, it's ridiculous that I could ever think this, but maybe, excuse me, maybe, just maybe, and you use those little things, appendages that God gave you to stand up, tiptoe over to the closet, and fix out that photo all on your own. I know. It's insane. It's insane that I could ever imagine that being possible. I must be crazy. Yes, that's gotta be it. Oh, I finally figured it out. Oh my God, sister, I'm so happy. I figured it out. I'm out of my mind.
Are you drunk?
Yes. So, I'm embracing my ancestry. I wasn't planning on it. I'm having a bit of an internal struggle, and I just needed to quiet my mind. You don't know what it's like to have to think all the time. It's a nightmare. And these constant stresses and thoughts entering my mind. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I saw her today. That girl from work. Oh, good God. She's so pretty when she's not wearing a polo. I wanted to talk to her, but I realized something. She's not going to be into me. Not when she gets a whiff of my family life. I kept thinking about that and went to a bar, and now I'm here, and this is a lie. These are not real people. They're a couple of kids from a different universe, and maybe they're happy where they are, but they are not you and me.
What's wrong with you?
You need to leave right now. I can't stand to be near you. Just leave.
I can't just go. I don't have any leg.
I know, but it doesn't matter anymore if you can walk or not. I don't care. You're leaving.
What are you doing?
You want the couch? It's yours. It's tainted anyway, so it's going with you.
You're crazy.
Duh!
Stop.
My name is David. There's no E in it. Oh, my life will be so great when you're gone because I'll be all alone, and that's where I belong.
Look at what you're doing.
You've been infecting me. The line between reality and crazy is blurring. Your stench is on me, and I can't get it off. It's like you're reviving every hate I've ever had. You're poison, Renee. Poison!
You want me to just kill myself, huh? Make you happy?
Maybe it would.
Oh.
I didn't mean that.
Yes, you did, Davy. Yes, you did.
No, it was just a reaction. I didn't mean it.
You meant it.
I didn't mean it.
That's what this is all about. You want me dead, right? Is that what it's going to take? Is that what it takes for you? We're on the 4th floor. That's a pretty good fall, yeah.
No, Renee, don't do anything. Let's just slow down for a second.
My life is such a waste. Maybe I'm better off living in your mind, huh?
What is happening? No, it was just a joke. It was a joke.
No?
A bad joke. I didn't mean it.
You didn't care about the story I told you, the one with the pills. You didn't care, Davy. You didn't care.
I care.
Too late. The truth is out. I can go right now. If that's what it'll take to give you peace, I'll do it, Davy.
No, you can't. You don't have legs, remember? Oh, Renee, listen to me. I did not mean it. I would never mean that. I would never go that far.
You just did.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Please, just sit back down. Let's slow down for a second.
You can either want me dead or you can tell me you love me. That's your choice.
No, it's not that simple.
I'll haunt you, Davy. I'll haunt your dreams.
Renee, you have a daughter.
Who doesn't remember me?
Renee, she's waiting for you. She doesn't understand any of this. She doesn't have a point of view. We can tell her whatever we want. She doesn't have to know any of this. Hell, she doesn't have to know she has a grandfather if we don't want her to.
Davy, I'm not allowed to live with her.
I know, but you can always. You can still friend her on Facebook. No laws against that, I think. She'll be happier knowing you're out there.
You can either want me dead or you can love me. But I can't stand being suffocated by you anymore.
What'd you just say?
Suffocated. That's what you're doing to me.
I know what that's like. You know, as a kid, I always hated it. Having a pillow pressed on my face for like a minute. I guess I always thought that as far as punishments go, it was probably better than being spanked.
I thought the same thing.
He did it to you too? I didn't know that.
Davy, I was born first.
Maybe he thought he was helping us. Maybe he thought it was less violent.
I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is he just wanted to hurt us.
Today, you made me think of something. A thought I've been running from all afternoon. Maybe I've been hurting you. I can't love you, Renee. I'm not capable of it. And I don't know the first thing about forgiveness.
Okay, then?
But maybe I can pretend for a while.
Pretend?
Yeah. And after some time, who knows? Maybe people change when they hit 30, or maybe it'll just be real, or maybe after a while it won't matter. You can just pretend yourself a little.
Do you think you can keep that up?
Why not? It's better than the alternative. Why don't we just watch some cartoons for a little bit? That'd be nice.
Do you know what SpongeBob is?
Yeah, I know what SpongeBob is.
The TV's still broken.
It's just cracked, like a lot. We can still sort of make out what's happening, I think.
Okay, then.
You know, it must really suck not having any legs.
You know, you get used to it.
They sit in silence under the watchful eye of their grandfather's painting. End of play.
Hi, I'm David Rainey, and I am the Executive Artistic Director of the Landing Theater Company. We'll take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back for the talkback.
Hello, thank you for coming to the Talkback for Legs by Christian Gill. I'm Brendan Borkshiel, Literary Associate for the Landing Theater. I want to let you know that as we're having this talkback, you're invited and encouraged to post any questions you have about the play for the playwright or for anyone else here in the YouTube chat. There is also a questionnaire on our website, landingtheater.org, that gives audience feedback. So if you have in-depth audience feedback that you would like to send, we would really appreciate that. Your voice is integral in helping us develop this play. I'd like to take a second to introduce everyone here on the call with me. So first of all, our actors, David O'Barr, who played Davy, and Maggie Maxwell, who played Renee. Crystal Uchum, who is the Landing's resident costume designer, who consulted on costumes for this and also read stage directions. Of course, Laura Moreno, who directed. You may also hear cameos from Izzy, Laura's daughter and collaborator. Hanging in the virtual backstage is our stage manager, Olivia Peel, and our technical director, Addie Pollock. Also, thank you very much to Alex Schumann, but we just call him Shu, for editing tonight's video. And finally, last but certainly not least, I would like to say thank you, hello, and let me introduce you to Christian Gill, the playwright of Legs. Christian, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
My go-to answer is that I am navigating the cosmic firestorm of 2020 with all the serenity I can muster. That's how it's going.
Okay. I'm all right.
Cool. We always start talkbacks the same way. So you know the question that's coming first. I would like you to tell us, if you can.
Sure. Yeah. So a few years ago, when I was in college, studying playwriting, I had been working on a sort of family drama. And I realized pretty quickly that the two strongest characters were the two siblings. And I had been wanting to figure out an angle to make a play about them. And eventually I was in a class taught by Hannah Porter, who people may recognize from writing Leap and the Net Will Appear, which appeared at the Catastrophic Theater a few years ago. Got to see that. Wonderful play. She's great. She taught us a lot of stuff about sort of writing more about emotion and less about logic, and sort of encouraging us to experiment and that type of thing. And eventually I dislocated my knee while doing a scene from Liar Liar, the Jim Carrey movie. So I had to phone in for a final class, and it got me thinking about that situation. And she was having a sort of talk about our lives. And so over the phone, I was just like, well, knowing certain people, it's kind of like knowing somebody who claims not to have legs, and you see them walking around and they do things that's very detrimental to themselves. And you keep trying to explain to them they have legs, but they don't seem to believe you and keep trying to convince you otherwise. And you can't really argue with them because it makes no sense to begin with. And she was just sort of like, well, that should be a play. And I was like, I agree, that should be a play. And I realized that was like a thing I could actually apply to my earlier characters and actually give them like a conflict and something to work with. And so that was, I guess, the impetus.
Hannah Porter, by the way, has a great book out right now called The Seep. Highly recommended. Christian, before this play came to the Landing, it had already gone through some development at U of H, of which David O'Barr here was a part. Can you tell us a little bit about how the play has grown since the version that was workshopped at U of H?
Well, yeah, so it wasn't workshopped at U of H exactly. It was just something I wrote myself and decided to direct myself as part of a directing class that was being taught by Justin Lucero. Great director that I'm sure a lot of people know. And he was gracious enough to let me just write my own play and direct it. And so the only two people who really gave me feedback were David O'Barr and Maya Schultz, who was a different actress working in Chicago right now, actress for hire, you should hire her. And David, actor for hire, hired him. And so it was a little bit more ad hoc, just sort of trying to figure it out without a lot of guidance. And So the play ended up being very silly and funny, but it didn't have much of what I would call a point or a very good emotional backbone to it, I would consider. A lot of it was just me throwing things at the page. There was little to no explanation as to why she had legs, because I didn't, at the time, feel like there needed to be much of one. And so when it came to the Landing Theater, one of the big differences was getting to hear from all these different professionals. And one of the things that kept coming back to me is just like, there's something kind of missing with the play, the emotional core that I wanted to work on. So I ended up making the play much more dark, but I would say a little bit more truthful.
And while we're on the subject of the play's development over the past couple of months, this is a question for Laura and for David, and for anyone else who has seen the play through various permutations. Looking back on where it was when you first saw it and where it is now, and some of the differences that have come into it, what are some of the ones that have struck you the most?
Well, I feel like I did a much better job with her character in particular. That's always something I'm very sensitive about, especially when I went to UH. We read countless plays from people all over the country, like new playwrights. And one of the most things that popped up all the time was two-person play where the male character, who is clearly just an avatar for the writer, lectures the female character who stands quietly and is just sort of yelled at for a while. So I was really trying to crack that, which I still think I could do some work on that, but really give her like a level of understanding and a little bit more emotional depth, I think. It's something I was really trying to figure out.
One of the things that definitely, in terms of the emotional stuff, some of the specific things that were added over the course of the play, just from whenever I was first brought into the project 2 years ago now, I think. One of the things, the ending was the most noticeable change for me. Just the fact that the two of them end together, whereas in the original thing, script that I worked on, we basically just had it ending with Davy by himself. But in this one, it ends in I would say almost a more hopeful just version of it, with the two of them ending in a place where we don't really know what's going to happen, but they're still the two of them together as a family, which definitely it just feels very, very hopeful, and also pretty truthful, coming from the story that we came from, which as Christian said, was a lot of fun to do. That first play was utter insanity with spray bottles and lots of pizza. Very, very good memories with that one as well. So
I'd say that over the course of reading the script and watching it kind of morph into what it is, something that I said early on was that it had a very theater of the absurd kind of feel to it. What it didn't have was, it didn't ground the characters within that world. And so what has happened over the course of the last few months is that these characters have started to gain this weight within the world that Christian has created, and within that, with that weight has come heart. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to end happy. It just means that there is life given to these characters, where you have that kind of where the people watching it can see themselves in there in some way, even if it's just a little bit, so that they make this connection to the play, to the script, to the characters, and there is an investment within it. Yes, things can be crazy. Yes, things can be silly. But if the truth is if there isn't that weight created, if there isn't heart, then it's harder for an audience to find a way to invest. And I think that's the journey I've seen over the last few months within the script, which personally to me feels like it has more Christian in it now than it did before. Because I personally find Christian to be a really lovable person. Like, I just I just find him to be so endearing. And I think within the last few months, he's been able to put these little things, little moments, little lines within the script that have exposed himself, which makes you love him that much more. And so I think that's been part of the journey that has been the most wonderful to experience, is just being able to have that kind of sense of Christian in a different way, but not silly Christian. You get to see Christian's heart. And I think that's been really, really beautiful to witness, but also to watch unfold with the two characters as well.
I'd like to take a question now that has been posed by our audience. The question is, I think I invite anyone to comment on this. The dark moments do resonate. Do you see any future for these characters you've created? They are powerful as siblings. Interesting. Do you see any future for them? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. When I first, before I even came up with the idea of her missing her legs years ago, the first version of these characters is something I came up when I was a teenager. And there's still a lot of that still in there. And as I've gotten older and more mature, I think it's easier for me to see that, yeah, if they can grow up a little bit, they could have, this is their chance to have a second childhood. They didn't get to have a good childhood the first time. And so now they have a chance to actually grow up together for the first time. So yeah, maybe if they can get over their own egos and just sort of enjoy each other's company.
One thing I do love about the ending, the way it exists now, is that they have struck some sort of harmony that is so unique to them. You know, it requires this negotiation of like competing delusional realities sort of merging together. And it's such an interesting balance. But yeah, I do feel like personally a harmony has been created that allows for a potential future for them. I have a question for the actors and also for the director. And this question is, you can answer with either or both of these. The most fun moment for you in doing this script, and the most challenging, what can I make of this moment for you in doing this script?
I can start. I would say that this new medium that that theater exists in at this moment was both fun and challenging. We had some really great moments exploring Maggie and David's home and trying to figure out. We didn't want it to be the plain white background. We wanted to find a way to see if we could exist in this world the way we would on stage. So we ended up having Maggie and David carry their laptops around their homes and trying to figure out what wall we were going to shoot on. And it was so funny because they both have wood paneling in their home. And so we then started to like explore the wood paneling and what stuff did they have within their home that looked like it would be in their grandfather's apartment. And so it's funny because like David has an antelope on his wall. And and then Maggie's mom has this really beautiful picture she painted. But then when you put the antelope and the picture plus Kevin Costner together, we were just cracking up because every little discovery was just kind of digging into this world a little bit more. And we didn't get to exist within the same space the way we would in a rehearsal room or on a stage. But it kind of felt like we did because, the two actors led us into their home. And then we got to find those little nuances within their home, within the script, that we could just kind of link together and tell the story even more so. The challenge, of course, is this medium. How do you connect with your audience? How do you keep them interested? what do you do? And I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. I think there's a lot of exploration that can happen over the next few months, and we're going to be living in this world for a little bit longer, trying to figure out these platforms. That being said, the next challenge would have been Davy's spells. Those we, myself and Olivia, the stage manager, we spent a good 40 minutes of just our technical rehearsal and paper tech, trying to figure out how we were going to do this. How do we differentiate what's happening? And the truth is, you know, with the platform, you really can't stop the filming. David can't run over and turn off the light to make it look like, you know, he's lost lighting and he's now in this new world. And so we went with the sermon idea, that these are his father's sermons, and how do we then create what the father had seen within those images, within what he was saying. And so then we started to pull the pictures and time out, you know, how we were going to, you know, flash them onto the screen, what we were going to do with David in those moments and stuff like that. And so those were the bigger challenges. But I think the whole process was fun, especially just figuring out, Maggie, do you have a controller? David, do you have a controller? David, do you own Axe body spray? Okay, put Axe body spray, put a label on that says Axe body. So just things like that. We found ourselves giggling and chuckling a lot and enjoying the process as we went along.
David or Maggie, same question, things that were either particularly fun or particularly challenging about your work on this? Yeah, Maggie?
I think for me personally, the most fun was the sibling play between the two of them, especially in the opening scene when she first shows up kind of out of nowhere. I think Christian, in my opinion, really hit the nail on the head with a lot of these interactions. I think that these two, however weird they get at the end, they are sort of very classic siblings in the beginning. And I think that's such a great beginning to then morph into this insane relationship and dynamic that they have. And then bouncing off of that, towing that line of that dynamic and the having to truly convince yourself of something, but then also know that you're doing that convincing and ultimately that thing is not real. And it's crazy at that monologue where she's openly admitting, like, I know I'm lying about all this, I'm pretending, but it's real. That's so nutty. And that character choice was really a challenge, but also the fun part to play with, having to fully believe something, but then also believe that I'm making myself believe that. But yeah, it was a lot of, most of it was fun though. They get these crazy moments all through the whole thing, and I love the comedy of it. Yeah. Take it away, David.
For me, probably we'll start with the most fun for sure. But the most fun stuff was definitely just the extremes that especially Davy that I go through throughout the whole thing. Because there is one of the things that's really fun about Davy is, you know, throughout the play, I'm basically acting as if I am able to love her, but I don't know that I can do that, which is just such the fact, because I don't know what it is to love. And you see that clearly with the way he talks to, with the way he talks about the girl that he sees, that I see at work. And like, yeah, I can't talk to her. I can't. I don't know what to say. She makes my heart explode. I mean, yeah. So then, but the not really cool thing about Davy is that he goes from the extreme of, okay, we're just siblings and we're talking to each other, and then you have to bring that all the way up to freaking hellfire and brimstone with all the spells, which is almost, I mean, you're basically summoning hell, which, I mean, in all accounts, not gonna lie, it was pretty fun to just have to push yourself to that extreme, especially with that last spell. I mean, going from like sibling relationship to hellfire, and then bringing it back all the way down with the drunken scene to where you realize, oh, she's gonna kill herself, and just having to have that whole arc was just, that was definitely probably the fun thing. Just having that whole arc that I had to explore was just really fun. And just having this great team, I mean, it's hard not to enjoy yourself when you're with this crazy crew of doodads. But the most challenging thing though was, I would probably agree with Laura, the medium. Just having to figure out, okay, are we film acting or are we theater acting on a film platform? And one of the really one of the really challenging things for me is actually, I'll show you. So we call that the ghost. So my screen can get pretty blurry, and that's one of the things I like to move a lot. So one of the things that I had to try to do was to not move as much, which is that was probably one. So adapting to this medium was definitely a big challenge for me as well.
So I don't know how many people watching know anything about, new play development opportunities and how they generally work and how they generally play out. But oftentimes we create them to give playwrights an opportunity to rewrite sort of in real time. Like in between a rehearsal, a playwright might drastically change their play. The reality is most playwrights are not bold enough to go with that. Most playwrights will more or less keep the play the way it was when they first turned in a draft. But Christian, you were making bold rewrites at every opportunity pretty late into the game. And I'm wondering, what were some of the writing choices that you felt the most unsure about or the most excited about going into when you were introducing this stuff sort of late in the game?
Well, I'd say the underlying darkness of the entire play, because this is certainly much darker. The trauma that they've both encountered. Originally, the father, I don't know if you call it a subplot, or the father's ghost, or whatever you want to call it, was like mentioned in one scene and then mentioned again later on. And that was pretty much it. And then for this draft, I realized that it was probably a really good idea to make that like their central, this is an experience they've both had that's terrifying and terrible, and they need to deal with this together. They're the only people in the world who have encountered this guy. So I ended up making him significantly worse so that they have something to talk about. That was a little bit much, things like that. And, writing her character and stuff, trying to give her more and more backstory, it's this weird balance where I don't want to write the play about the bad lady and the guy who's morally righteous at all. Nobody needs that play. But for him to be critical of her, there needs to be things for him to criticize in her past. So it was like this weird give and take of like, okay, I guess I'm going to give a little bit more, but I don't want the audience to think the takeaway is like, oh, look at this bad lady, boo on you, that kind of thing. So I was very nervous about that stuff. I think that probably showed during development, because that was the stuff I was asking the most questions about, like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? Yeah, I guess that's it.
We have another question from the audience. Hey, Christian, beautiful script, man. I have a sibling and I got a lot out of it. I'm curious, do you think someone who grew up as an only child can resonate with this relationship, and in what way?
That is an amazing question. Do I think that somebody who is an only child can resonate with this relationship? I mean, sure. I think that they might have a completely different viewpoint on it. I think that it would be somebody with a sibling might find it easier to understand why their conflict, but somebody who's an only child might find it easier to appreciate, like, man, I wish I had somebody who truly cared about me since the day I was born, aside from my parents. There's somebody around my own age that could be my partner in life. And why can't these characters just sort of come together? They might be able to see a little bit clearer through some of the negative aspects and be a little bit more invested in trying to see them, get over their problems together.
Any only children in the room besides me? No?
I'm not an only child, but my sister and I are we're many years apart. And so it was like growing up with more of an aunt than it was growing up with a sibling. So I would say like, because I didn't have a sibling relationship similar to this one where they kind of fight and do things like that. My sister was kind of like just another mom who took care of me. And so what I noticed when certain things would happen, I'd be like, that's not so bad. Like, I appreciate that. Like, it's okay. Like, and so like, there are things that Davy's upset about, and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. And so it did kind of feel that way. So then I was like, no, I have to see this because he probably really is annoyed by this. If I had a sister that was doing that, how would I feel about that? So yeah, I did see it differently than two annoying siblings, or two siblings that are annoyed by each other, and more so, you know, there are worse things, I guess, that kept like creeping up in my mind, and then I'd have to be like, no, this does exist, and they probably really are over each other. So yeah, that was the difference.
Yeah, as an only child, I think I relate to it on the familial level of, there are family members, they're not my siblings, but they have seen the worst of me. They have seen younger versions of me that I do not project and do not want to be associated with. You know, they've seen vulnerable sides of me. And so I can sort of approximate what that must feel like for siblings based on what it feels like with, you know, my cousins. Also, I have met, you know, people who were suffering from mental illnesses, and on that level, I have been one of those people, and on that level, I can relate. And so I don't necessarily look at the script and think like, I'm the David in my relationship with somebody else, or I'm the Renee in my relationship with somebody else. I think I have a David in me, I have a Renee in me. You know, I relate to a lot of both of them. Christian, looking forward at this script, and any future you're considering for it, are there changes you're mulling over right now, or are you thinking more about where to go with it next? What is your thought on the future for Legs?
Yeah, well, I would say that I definitely want to keep developing it and keep working on it. It is to the point now that if it did get properly produced in a theater, I wouldn't be horribly embarrassed by it, which is nice. But there's a lot of little things, like details about their characters that I need to like flesh out and like make more understandable, one thing. And more so, I think one thing I just thought of yesterday I should really try to focus on more is really trying to see the story entirely from her view. And I feel like that would give me the opportunity to really make some good changes to make her a bit more active in the storyline, you know, and make it feel a little bit, I still feel like it's a little bit leaning too much more as him being the protagonist. That's not really what I want it to be. I want it to be two people of equal weight. So, yeah.
Okay, we're steering towards the end of this talk back. I want to get everybody prepared, mulling over the last question I'm going to ask before I ask it. So I'm going to do this talk back in a full reverse order, and the last question I'm going to ask is the first question you ask in the Liz Lerman method of feedback, which is what stood out to you. That's going to be, I'm going to go around and ask everyone to sign off with something that stood out for them in the script. So be thinking of that. But in the meantime, while you're thinking of that, Christian, you have some other scripts you're working on. You have some other projects in the mix, and I'm wondering if you wanted to let the people watching know about that in case they don't.
Yeah, well, over the past year, I joined a writer's room out of Rec Room Theater. A friend of mine by the name of Eric Moore, that I'm sure everybody knows, approached Rec Room about starting a writer's room, and they were so enthusiastic that they went above and beyond. And they got about 9 writers together, and we're all going to produce some audio plays that will be released later on in the year. Mine's recording actually in a few weeks, which is terrifying. And they're going to be released towards the end of the year, moving on to next year. So mine's going to go up around January, and it's going to be available for 4 days. And I'm very excited about that. I guess that's the big one. I also got commissioned to write a sketch comedy show for a high school about the COVID-19 crisis. And I'm terrified that they're going to actually open up the theater and do it, thus leading to the death of a bunch of kids. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah.
Okay, so Rec Room, your play for Rec Room is called Clipped Wings, should be coming up sometime in January, and a sketch show about COVID at a high school that, for safety reasons, probably shouldn't happen. Cool, good to know. I would like to go around and hear those things that stood out. I'll go first. The transition from a house that smells like a bunch of boxes of freshly ordered pizza to a house that's full of boxes of cold, stale, hard pizza, I think will stick out to me as a vivid image and sort of metaphor for the state of this relationship. Anyone else can jump in.
I'd say Kevin Costner. We got to a point during the production portion of the reading where we wanted to put Kevin Costner however we could into this into this, and the fact that Kevin Costner actually, the painting does exist, it belongs to Christian, it's in his house, and that's what the picture we used is just a picture of Kevin Costner that Christian took, and then we just kind of put wherever we could in this process. And so that sticks out to me, especially because growing up, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was one of my favorite movies. And so I was like, hell yeah, we're going to use Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves wherever we can. So yeah, that's a good one for me.
I'll go ahead and go. One of the lines that really struck me, Christian, was it's one that you added on this last draft, but it's the part where I say to Renee, what is it? I'm trying to remember the exact line. Maybe we can just pretend for a little while, and who knows? Maybe people change when they're 30, and maybe after a while it'll just be real. And it reminds me of something a good friend of mine said. And basically, I remember talking to him, like, man, it's so hard to love this person. Like, how do I love this person? Like, I feel like I'm acting all the time around them, and acting's my job. I do that on stage. I don't do that like to real people. It's like, no. Just keep acting. Just keep acting. And that was some of the best advice I've ever been given. So that line will always stick with me. Maybe we can just pretend for a while. So, yeah.
I'll go. For when I really love the relevance of the TV. It's sort of this central point of conflict at the beginning with the volume, and then at the end with the breaking of the TV to lead to the final moment. And just that it is so important to Davy. I feel like it has these underlying plot elements that kind of drives the story along in a really weird way. And I love that it's an inanimate object that's playing a part in the show as well.
This is cheating, but I would say the production is the thing that I remember the most specifically. Working with Landing has been wonderful. They've treated me with the utmost respect, and they've always been game to try out new ideas and incredibly encouraging, and also very intelligent with their feedback. And watching Laura come up with a million ideas on the spot and slowly realizing that she can't do them all was a joy. I don't know if I've actually ever told Laura this. I've asked to work with her on like 3 different projects, and this is the first one where I got the chance. I'm very happy about that.
Crystal, did you have one?
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say that really just the vividness of Renee's reality and how trauma affects your own perception really is something that I took away from the script.
And I don't know if Olivia or Addie were expecting to chime in for this. I'll give them the opportunity, and just while they're thinking about it, I'll add in a last one. This very much activates a sense of like responsibility in me, this play, weirdly. At times when I see Davy struggling to negotiate with Renee what's going on, I get this personal sense of like, I wouldn't do it that way. How would I do it? You know, how could I do this better? And that's always been an interesting, unanticipated reaction I get when watching some of the scenes in this play. Olivia says they're good, so we're moving on. Once again, it's never too late to give feedback, and if you have feedback that you didn't want to like rattle off in a YouTube chat, there is a questionnaire that we will post to our Facebook page, and also it'll be on our website where you can give more in-depth feedback. You can do it, you can add your name, or you can do it anonymously, whatever you want. So send hate mail if you want, it's your call. Thank you very much to the cast and crew of Legs by Christian Gill. I think that's going to be it for us tonight.
Oh, can I throw one more thing out there? Sorry. Maggie Maxwell, Houston area actor for hire. Okay.
Cool. Good night, everybody.